Welcome to the tongue-in-cheek Rugby League Outsiders prediction video. This is the only prediction video on the internet that counts, in our opinion.
The only prediction video on the internet that doesn't get any predictions right. I mean, we got one last week. What actually does tell you how good Super League is this year, because you can't predict who's going to win. The teams that were poor last year have upped their game, and the teams that we think are going to run away with it are slipping. Hopefully we have a better week this week with it being Challenge Cup week.
Right, so let's kind of just do a little bit of a recap on last week. It was round 4 of the Super League. Kicking off a belter of a game, Hull FC versus Leigh Leopards, finishing 22-all.
And we never like to slate the match officials, but even the match officials have said that they got this one wrong. His foot was on the line. What on earth was going on with that captain's challenge? Beggars belief. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say about it.
Speechless,
it was shocking, wasn't it? I mean, it just didn't make a decision, did it? It should have gone one way or the other. It didn't make a decision, and then they just completely got it wrong. And it ruined what was a fantastic game.
Oh, absolute belting game. And the thing for us is, like, you know, we always pride ourselves on not being like, you know, we try not to beat down the RFL. We try and support the officials because we know we need them in the game. However, I myself was calling from an independent investigation after that game because it was sickening. You know, they absolutely throttled that game, and if it weren't for the skill on shore, on the pitch, I don't know where we'd be right now. You're right, they didn't make a decision. You know, and everybody else watching the clip, they know what the decision was. You know what I mean? There's even the famous divot, you know, the bit of the sod of grass. Do you know what I mean? That's showing that his foot was on the line, and it was just terrible. And it started this trend throughout the whole game of like failure to make a decision. So a decision would go, whether it's a captain's challenge or, you know, the video referee or whatever, and they just refuse to make. And my thing is, like, get some balls. Like, make a decision, you know, and if you're not going to make a decision, stop this process, which slows down the game. God, I got myself in a right rant.
I know, bloody hell, sorry, man. You know, soapbox time or what?
Anyway, I needed to get that out. Cracking game. Hull 22. Thank God, you know, they stepped it up and started to perform into the team that we know they can be. And I don't think Leigh were poor. You know, I think it was just a really well contested game.
And that's what I said right at the start, where you can't call who's going to win these games, because you would have had Leigh down to win this, but Hull turned up. They played really well. Great game. Great start to the week.
Okay, moving on then, we then had Saints versus Hull KR, finishing 20 points to 10 in Hull KR's favour.
Well, Hull KR made us look stupid because the previous 2 weeks had not quite fired, and we was like, yeah, we're not sure Hull KR are quite on it this year. Turned up at Saints, blew them to one side. Tyrone May was great. Mikey was back performing. Saints, we've got problems in their halves, I think.
Can't argue they've got stars on the pitch, but just didn't fire, so another loss for Saints there. Moving on then, so Wigan then took on Huddersfield Giants, and they eventually finished 44 points to the better. Giants coming out 18 points.
Yeah, so the 2 games on at the same time, and I was like, right, I'm not going to watch the Wigan v Huddersfield game because I know what the score's going to be at that one. And then I looked at the score at half-time, and Huddersfield were 18 points to 6 up. I was like, damn, I picked the wrong game to watch here. But yeah, normal service resumed in the second half. Matt Peake might have had something to say at half-time, and I think he dragged them off that aeroplane back from Vegas and got them kicking in the second half.
I remember texting you, and because at the time Wire was losing as well, and it was like, you know, if both these Vegas teams lose, there's got to be some questions asked about Vegas.
Not only that, if Wigan had have lost this game, we would have got none from 6 on the predictions last week. So I'm glad at least one came in.
That can't be right, because we disagreed on something, didn't we? I'm sure we disagreed. We'll have to play it back. Anyway, right, let's move on then quickly before anyone realises that we're actually crap. Castleford took on Salford, a game that we didn't even know was gonna happen or not.
Actually, I take that back, because we did call this one. We said Castleford are gonna win this. Salford are in disarray. It basically just proved what we already knew. The too many off-field problems with Salford. Paul Rowley looked absolutely dejected. He looked fed up after the game. I expected this result, and it came in.
I think there's a lot of people getting fed up with this Salford situation. We actually dive right into it for the Williams Weekly in our weekly news show, The Set of Six. Check that out, where we go really deep into it. In fact, we go as far back as 2013 and trace where all these problems are arisen from. So, so Castleford 22, Salford 14. Moving on then, diabolical display from Leeds. Catalan versus Leeds. Catalan come out 11 points to 0 winners.
A pressure relieving result for Steve McNamara, this one. He needed a win big time, and it came. Leeds, I think you said to me, Leeds created all the pressure in the world. They got up to the right end of the field and then just made basic schoolboy errors, couldn't keep hold of the ball, and core skills let them down. And the inconsistency continues for Leeds. Yeah,
and even the sniper was saying that was the poorest performance he'd seen all weekend across Super League and the NRL. So that hurts as a Leeds fan, but hopefully they can sort it out. You can't question their heart, you can't question their desire and their effort and attitude, but just something wasn't firing in their core skills. Right, moving on. Final game then was Warrington versus Wakey, and Wakey took them to the cleaners in a 30 points to 16 win.
Trinity absolutely brilliant. Looked like they could score from anywhere on the field. Max Jowett, I mentioned him in the other show. He's just quality. He's absolute box office at the minute. Creating gaps all over the field. His support play is incredible. Warrington, on the other hand, they just can't do the basics at the minute. Like the basic one-on-one tackling skills is really letting them down. They're organised enough in attack, but if you can't defend, you're not going to win many games. And there's a few worrying signs there for Warrington. Yeah, and a statement in the press saying that Sam Burgess likened it to an under-10s game. So which is terrible, really, because this is supposed to be footy at the highest level. And I think it's fair to say that is some really really basic defensive errors, and just didn't look on form.
Okay, so definitely ones to watch. Now, the Super League, park that for 1 minute, and now let's turn our attention to round 4 of the Challenge Cup. Now, I know you're mouth-watering here, Carl, because there's a big game in particular that you got your eye on. Yeah, my team are in there. The Bulls have got the Red Devils, so who knows where we're going to go with that. We'll dive into that one in a minute, though. First game is Saints versus Leeds. What time's this kick off, Craig? The next 3 games are all Friday the 14th. They all start at 8 o'clock. Interestingly, the Saints is the only one that you can watch because it's been broadcast on the Sportsman, so you can check that out. Right, Saints Leeds then. 2 teams who didn't perform this weekend. Leeds continue with their inconsistencies. Saints, we thought were getting better, but however, one of those fixtures was against the Salford side that had an academy team out. Did we shine a light too much on St Helens and big them up a little bit too much? I think we did. They didn't look great at the weekend. Lomax and halfback partner, they're not connecting very well. And Tristan Saylor did go missing this weekend. Well, we were actually in the comments accused of being a bit disrespectful to Saints at one point, and sort of reflecting on that. As we always do, reflect on all the comments. By the way, we're getting to the point now where we're struggling to keep up. We do try and acknowledge every comment. One way to make sure that we do see and reply to your comment is you join the channel, because you get a little icon next to your name, and that will obviously get priority replies to the comments. But I don't think we were harsh, looking at current form and also the last couple of seasons as well. So anyway, this is a hard one to call. I mean, Hull KR did turn up at St Helens and they were great again this weekend. But I don't know what. Every time I look at Saints and they don't perform, the pressure just keeps building on Paul Wellens, doesn't it? And this is going to be a real interesting one. Leeds are inconsistent. Saints are not too consistent. There's 2 coaches, I think, under a bit of pressure here. Well, I don't think Brad Arthur's under pressure as much as as much as not as much as Paul Wellens, but Leeds fans they've had a lot to deal with over the last couple of years, and it won't take too many more losses and too many inconsistent games for them fans to get on his back. But I think he's a proven coach, and I think they don't need, regardless of what's going on, it's one of these where you've got to double down on it. You've got to give them time, to get stuff. It's strange, isn't it? Because the previous week we were shouting Leeds' praises. How can they go from being so inconsistent? It's last season all over again. Just complete inconsistencies. So it's an interesting one. I'll let you go for this. Who are you calling? Right, well, I'm torn on this. Right, I don't want Saints to bloody put us out the cup, but I also feel like it's just sod's law. It's our, that we'll throw it away and let Saints win. Anyway, I'm going to choose from the heart. I'm going to go for a Leeds win. I think they're going to right a few of their problems. And rightly or wrongly, I think Leeds will win.
Nah, you're wrong, mate. Saints are going to win this one.
I knew you were going to say that.
We can't pick the same. No, do you know what I think with this game? I don't think it'll be a close game. Because of how these two sides are playing, I think we're going to get a big winning margin, whichever way it happens. And it's a tough one to call. But I'm going to go Saints. I'm going to go 12 to 14 point margin.
But it is a tough one because I could also see it going to Golden Point.
No, I don't think it will. I think the teams are too inconsistent. These teams need to learn how to grind wins out, actually. That's one thing you can say that they're not doing very well.
Right, we've got to move on then. So, next one, Hull KR versus Oldham, also 8 o'clock.
This is fairly simple. I expected a little bit more from Oldham this year. They've already lost 2 games. They lost to Barrow at the weekend. I think in the Championship, they've got a pretty star-studded lineup of Oldham. Certainly a team that you would expect them to be right up the top end of the Championship. They're currently sitting 6th. They're currently sitting mid-table. I think they've only won the 1 game at the minute. I don't. They ain't good enough to beat Hull KR. Hull KR were back on top form again this weekend. It's at home. Easy one to call. It's a Hull KR win, is this?
Agreed. Hull KR. Right, moving on. Quickly then, Salford versus the Bradford Bulls, Carlos.
I mean, if you'd have come to me last week, I'd have gone, yeah, Bradford are going to win this. And then they went to the south of France. The honeymoon period is over for Brian Noble. They got an absolute battering. They got schooled. The Twitter account were blaming the weather, but the weather was there for both teams. But then we got Salford. I don't know. You spoke about Salford in depth, haven't you?
Yeah. Do you know, I'm going to make another decision based on my heart, right? So we did talk about Salford in depth in the weekly news show. Go and check it out. We spend quite a bit of time talking about it if you don't quite understand the situation that's going on there. Now, I want to put it this way. Salford need a win. Salford need a good cup run. And I'll tell you why. Because they ain't doing frick all in the Super League. All right? And this a good cup run where we know at times lots of things can happen. They've also, got to the Challenge Cup final in the past as well. I know it's a very different team, very different circumstances, but I think they need to focus everything on this. And they've got to, because potentially, if they can get past Bradford, and then if they can pick up I don't know.
You're talking absolute shit, man. Salford aren't going on a cup run this year.
But it's
not going to happen.
They've got to.
No chance. Not a chance. You're living in like dreamland or something here.
Maybe I am, but they've got to. They've got to focus. Got to put everything into this.
Right, Bradford are going to win this. I think it'll be a very difficult game. I think Salford, although they've got all their problems, they still have a pretty strong side. Hopefully the players have been paid. I mean, they still performed at the weekend against Cass, albeit there wasn't enough there. But I'm going for a championship win on this one, and I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve.
Right, I'm going for a Salford win, so we'll see what happens there. Moving on to the Saturday, the 15th, kicking off 5 o'clock, we've got Catalan versus Featherstone.
Featherstone not doing very well. I think they've only won the 1 game in the championship. I mean, Catalan aren't doing great either, but it's at Catalan. They picked up a win this weekend. Surely that's going to be enough for them to kick on. I mean, that'd be a big upset, wouldn't it, if Featherstone went to the south of France and picked up a win there?
Yeah, I can't see it happening. For me, it's a Catalan win, and although they might have a spirited attempt, I don't think they're going to be enough to beat Catalan. No.
I mean, Featherstone lost to Sheffield at the weekend, so I can't see them beating a Super League side. Put that one to bed.
Okay, moving on, another interesting game then, Widnes versus Wyatt. Now, obviously, there's a difference in standard there, but I'm just throwing out there as like a storyline, a narrative. Imagine now if Warrington lose to Widnes in the Challenge Cup.
Well, this is another one of those games. Like, if Widnes had won at the weekend, this is another one of these games I'd be going, I can't wait for this. And, it's the local derby. I know the Widnes fans are like dead excited to be playing them, especially a Warrington side that aren't playing that well. But then Widnes let me down, and they lost to Batley at the weekend. So that's put a little bit of a dampener on this one. However, it doesn't matter. It's a local derby. The fans are going to get right behind them. Could be a close one. Like we say, Warrington aren't they're not. They're making basic errors, and the defence certainly needs work. This is probably a game that Warrington need, actually. Slightly lesser opposition, no disrespect to Widnes. So I think they'll be looking to put a marker down on this game.
No, I completely agree. It could be like the springboard, perhaps for better things. But there is pressure on this game. You know what I mean? They do feel the pressure to win and the pressure to perform, because it could be a bit of a banana skin for them. So, but I've got it down as a Warrington win.
Yeah, I've got it down as a Warrington win. Just on a side note, do you think pressure's building on Sam Burgess a little bit?
I don't know if pressure's building, but I'm just wondering if the Sam Burgess effect is starting to wear off a little bit. You know, he came into the team, everybody was bolstered by that. You know, he's got a presence, we know that, and I'm wondering if that is wearing off a little bit and things are settling down. Everything has a natural settling point, and Warrington are settling to that little point. However, we're only a few rounds into Super League, so you just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. It's going to be an interesting game, this one, and like I say, I hope there's a big crowd there. It's at Widnes, isn't it? So yeah, Widnes currently 5th in the table. They were doing really well. I mean, they did go to Toulouse and beat Toulouse on round 1, so they've got some weapons in that side. So it won't be too surprised, but I don't think they're going to have enough to beat Warrington.
Right, so if you want to test yourself with a real puzzle, try and find this game. It's on the BBC Red button. God knows where that will be, but, you know, dig deep, you'll be able to find it. It's Wigan Warriors versus Hull FC.
Wigan, this is a repeat of the round 2 Super League clash that we went to that was at Hull. Hull have got better since that game. Certainly last weekend they proved that against Leigh, so that they can go toe-to-toe with these sides. However, I would expect Wigan to win. But I don't think this will be a walk in the park.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, Wigan, they probably won't talk about it openly, but I'm pretty sure they'd like to do like the 4 well, you can't do the 4, can they? But the 3 trophies again.
Yeah.
You know, so they're gonna throw everything at this game, and every game from here on in.
It's at Wigan. I mean, they are human, as we saw at the weekend. Huddersfield gave them a great game in the first half. But I expect them to win this one. I expect them to win by 14 points.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a Wigan win. However, good luck, Hull FC and the Hull FC fans, who we have a little bit of a connection with now, I feel. Moving on to the Sunday then, we've got Huddersfield versus... Oh, sorry, just going back slightly. The Wigan Hull FC on the BBC Red button, 17:45 kickoff. So that's a bit of a weird time. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird time, but I don't know why that is, some kind of programming thing or whatever.
Songs of Praise is probably on or something like that.
Be aware of that. And then once you've watched that, Sunday the 16th, you've got Huddersfield versus Wakey, kickoff at 3 o'clock.
So everything would point to a Wakefield win, wouldn't it? They were absolutely immense at the weekend, and their attacking shape and the fact that they can score from anywhere on the pitch makes Wakefield a really exciting side to watch. I keep saying it, I expect a Huddersfield win soon. It could come this weekend, especially with them in the Challenge Cup as well.
Right, I'm going to back Wakey here. I think Wakey have got something, they're building momentum. They've got this belief that they can score from anywhere. That is obvious. And I think Darryl Powell, after the game at the weekend, was sort of saying, you know, I just coach my players that if they think it's on, go for it. And it is, you know, Pratt on the right-hand side, Max Jowett, every aspect of his game, from his kicking, you know, to his positioning, to his running, all those things firing. And I think they're going to have a convincing win over Huddersfield this week.
How relaxed does Darryl Powell look, by the way? You know,
compared to his Warrington days.
Yeah, I mean, he just looked stressed out every week, didn't he? And now you see him, and it's kind of almost like a free hit this year for Wakefield. It's like they've got into the Super League.
No, I'd go as far as they've excelled. They've excelled already.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. But that's what I mean. It's like there's no expectation on their shoulders. So if they finish mid-table, they finish mid-table. Now, if they finish down the bottom half of the table, people will just say, well, that's what you expect from a side that's just got promoted. So I really feel like they don't have any pressure on them. And I think it's showing in how they're playing rugby. I mean, they're playing it like flipping nines at times. They're not scared to throw it around in their own 20, are they?
Against big opposition as well.
Yeah, so Darryl Powell just looks like he's got no weight on his shoulders, and his side can just go out and play free flowing rugby league. You know what? A little bit of like the Saints of old. He's how they're playing at the minute. Huddersfield are just getting a little bit better every week, and I just have this feeling. They might get a victory this week.
Okay, so we're split on this one then. You're going Hoods, I'm going Wakey.
That's a pretty outlandish call to make for a side that haven't won a game, bottom of the table. Can Wakey back it up every single week? I don't know. I'm just gonna throw it out there and go Giants this week.
What about this absolute fairy tale? Wakey get to the Challenge Cup final.
Could happen.
Yeah,
could happen, mate. Yeah, could happen.
Right, moving on then. The final game then, Leigh Leopards versus Batley Bulldogs, also 3 o'clock on the Sunday.
Now, Batley are one of them sides. We did our championship preview show at the start of the year. Mark Austin said to me, Batley, one of these teams that can beat anybody on the day. They can. they proved that at the weekend, beating Widnes. Bradford and Batley had an absolute right tussle a few weeks ago. Surely you've seen that with the good old punch-up, old-school rugby league. They can upset teams, definitely. Can they upset Leigh Leopards, who are one of the trailblazers of Super League at the moment? I don't think so. I think Leigh are a very good side. They're very well balanced, and another side that are really good to watch at the minute.
Yeah, I think the only danger is that Leigh don't turn up. They just put it, a bit complacent, and and they fall foul to a team that can score. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to really chase this cup run and, realising that there's some good games ahead if they can get through this, and they should. So a Leigh win for me.
Yeah, Leigh win for me. If it was at Batley, I'd have maybe gone, could be a bit close this one. But I think Leigh at home, I think they'll win by a considerable margin.
Right, so we're split on quite a few this week, Carl, which means at least someone's going to be right, you know what I mean, compared to last week.
Is that our tactic? If we split, at least we'll get 50% of them right.
It's spread betting, mate. That's what it is. You've got to spread the results out. Anyway, so if you stick your predictions in the comments down below, make sure that you subscribe.
Actually, you stick your predictions in the comments, because loads of people give us a load of stick last weekend. But if you're not putting your own predictions in the comments, you can't give us any stick. So put your predictions in the comments before the games kick off. And then at least if you come on abusing me, I can hit back.
Right, Carl, any final afterburners?
We've got our set 6 has dropped on the channel, which is 6 interesting news stories from around the world of rugby league. And it genuinely is from around the world. Australia, America, UK, Greece, everywhere in between. That's on the channel at the minute, so check that out. We've also got a number of little videos dropping from the Vegas trip. I'll keep trickling them out over the next coming week.
We've also got a giveaway on our weekly news show this week, so make sure you watch it to get involved on that. And do you know what I want? Right, I want to. This is a bit of waffle, and I know it's terrible for the end of a video, but I want some kind of closing statement. Right, so I watched this guy who's like a solicitor on YouTube. At the end of it, he goes, "Stay true." You know what I mean? I want like a little closing statement for the end of the video instead of going, "Until next time, take care." Do you know what I mean? Kick on, or the final whistle.
Let the outsiders decide.
Yeah,
Put it in the comments. How do we end the show? Right,
I want a short phrase that we can drop at the end of the show to show that the video's closing down. Right, okay. And what we'll do is whoever puts the winning comment, if you like, in, then we'll give you like a shout out on the show every time we do that for the next 4 videos. All right. So do that. It'd be interesting to see what you say. Maybe it would give like Carl a bit of a stick in it. That'd be good. Maybe it's rugby related. I don't want to put too many words in your mouth, but stick your ideas.
Hang on a minute, right? I've got something to bring up here. I totally forgot about this.
What do you mean?
I've got to bring this up, right? The Hull FC video.
It's on the channel now, watch it.
Yeah, right. The Rodeo Bull. You've put the timers on the Rodeo Bull, right? I didn't call you out on this because I forgot last week, so I was jet lagged. You cheated on that.
What?
Right. Everybody knows international rules of Rodeo Bull is one-handed.
No. See, you're in the international rules. I'm on the British Federation of Bull Riding Associations.
You can't do bull riding with 2 hands.
Why?
So you put a clock on there and I lost by a second, but you did it 2-handed.
Yeah.
It's fucking cheating.
Right, I won't have that language on this show. Right, there's kids watching this. We're streaming into people's living rooms. Right, I won't have that language. Right, we need to move on. And until the next video, take care.